United have now reportedly agreed a fee to sign James Trafford from Manchester City for a record fee. That is genuinely fantastic, but before I get into all that and all the details, I'm just going to address earlier where I was indicated to by a source that Trafford was on a specific plane and that an agreement was basically made. Turns out the agreement was like this close to being made rather than this close to being made, so I was wrong at the time. To be fair, I was running on information that was from a mainly reliable source in the past, and I'll be honest, in the same situation, if I had the same information, I would do the same thing again. Because the track record of the person I got the information from is normally just spot on. My apologies for misleading anyone, didn't mean to, but let's get on to the main bit of the story. So, I'm out of breath, sorry, I've been running away from football things. James Trafford signs for Leeds United. At the start of the window, I thought this was one of those moves that is never going to happen. And if it did happen, it would be on loan and it wouldn't be on terms that worked well for us. Because looking at the situation sort of from a wide perspective, James Trafford is a ridiculously good player and was playing at a club that didn't have any particular need to sell. And I thought at most we were going to get James Trafford on loan for a little bit of time and he wouldn't be sticking around for too long, and if he would, then Man City would just sort of take him back in a snap and it'd be a very, very temporary thing. And I wanted a goalkeeper that we could sort of build around for a very, very, very long time to come. As time's gone on, that's been proven to be an incorrect view of what's been going on, because Leeds United are looking to massively break their transfer record. So, Muhramovic at 34 million quid was roughly equivalent to the transfer record before today, because Rutter was about 34 million as well, so 34 million quid is roughly what our transfer record was. The reported fee for James Trafford is looking like £40 million and add-ons, with those add-ons presumably being related to Trafford's place in the international side, because I think that makes a lot of sense. We are effectively signing England's future number one, also relating to presumably the amount of football that James Trafford will be playing, towards club-based achievements like surviving in the league, and a bunch of other stuff, which I think will end up paying a good few of those. But then again, when you're making what is a marquee transfer, because it is a marquee transfer, because I would argue this is probably the best deal that any club has done so far in this window. It's not like done, but you know what I mean. Then these things are going to happen. You're going to pay a lot of money, because it is without a doubt a premium player. He is one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League right now. He's the goalkeeper that Manchester City signed last season thinking he's going to be our number one, and then they found Donnarumma. But when it comes to it, a guy that got displaced by Donnarumma, that's not a bad player at all. And normally when you're trying to sign a player, there's a reason that they're looking to be pushed out by their club. Either they are falling below the standard, or there's disciplinary issues, or X, Y, Z. And there's none of that with James Trafford. None of it, not even a little bit. At most, there is the fact that he might have been agitating for more time on the pitch, which is a good thing, which is a sign that he is someone that is eager and pushing and wants minutes, and that is ultimately what we're going to be able to give him. This does mean that Lucas Perry will be on the way out, and it means that we'll probably have to find another second choice keeper, but to me that's completely fine. We expected this. We knew that Perry was going to be on the way out. We knew that James Trafford was going to be a player that if we signed him would be playing basically every minute in the first team without a doubt. And importantly, I think he'll be doing that for a very, very long time, because we also have a couple of little details about his contract. Word is 5-year contract, which is ultimately what you want to do for a young player. So not only does this amortise the costs of the duration of the contract, so it would take the 40 million and bonuses to 8 million per year and bonuses, which means that it's significantly less in terms of this year's profit and loss sheet, which is very, very nice. And B, it shows that we are sort of committing to him. It shows that we're willing to sort of make him a foundational part of that squad. And sure, like there are cases in which you will give a player a contract for 2 or 3 years and they will still extend and extend and extend and extend. But this way we also give ourselves security. Security in the fact that if we don't want to sell James Trafford, we won't necessarily have to. And that is within bounds. Because I heard some people say that Man City wanted a sort of direct buyback clause at a set number, and we perhaps balked at that and went, we don't particularly like that idea, because then you just get to take our goalkeeper back. We were apparently suggesting a sort of first right of return, so if we accept a bid, we can also say to Man City, look, we've accepted a bid for this much money, are you willing to match it, and then you will get the player. It's going to be difficult to keep him for a very, very long time, but I imagine if Leeds United evolve in the way that it looks like we are going to, we'll be able to do so. Because looking at this window from a wider perspective, it has been fantastic so far. We've signed a ridiculously promising centre-back in Muharemovic. Brilliant. Looks like he's going to be a long-term option for us. Looks like he's going to be effectively the future of the club. Harry Wilson, one of the attackers of the season last year in the Premier League, and we got him for nothing. Rumours around Brandt. Again, signing him will be spectacular if we're able to do it. It's looking like a 2 or 3 year contract, which is not the longest, but then again, he's 30, so that's fine. And I'm going to walk to find some cover because it's starting to rain. And if we are able to evolve in that kind of way and look at the centre forward that we are looking at from La Liga, for example, that I've forgotten the name of, my bad, I have been at 7-a-side since the news dropped, then that's a sign that we're sort of pushing forward with European ambition as well. And in the event that we're in Europe, I don't really see any reason for James Trafford to go, no, actually, I don't want to be here anymore. Because in the event that we're in Europe and he's getting constant minutes and he's clearly the number one goalkeeper, and if he goes to somewhere like Manchester City that's not guaranteed, then he's going to want the opportunity to sort of retain a place in the England side that he doesn't have yet. Let's be clear about that. I think it's quite clever for him to, in this instance, basically do a Pickford, which is go to a side that isn't at the very top of the Premier League, and that way you're not going to get dropped. You're going to be constantly playing, you're going to be keeping match fit, and you're going to be keeping in that nice rhythm, because as a goalkeeper, you need that rhythm. Because understanding sort of as a second nature where your posts are, the flight of the ball, all this kind of crap, is a must. And if you spend excessive amounts of time not on a football pitch, that falls apart a little bit. So I think going somewhere that is going to constantly play football is beneficial for him. Him coming here is beneficial for us. And ultimately, it's beneficial for everybody. So that's nice. Anyway, I'm also going to talk a little bit on the home kit. The home kit, I don't mind too much. I've got a link down below for picking up bits of Leeds Eat merch. If you do so, I get a little bit of a cut of it, which is taken away from Fanatics. You're not taking money away from the club, you're just taking money away from an American sports company, which would be quite nice, and it really helps to support the channel, because if you do so, I think each shirt's worth is like half a video worth of revenue or something like that, off the top of my head, I don't know. But I quite like the shirt. I think I prefer the away one. I've not got either of them yet because money things, but it's fine. And hopefully we are able to win a hell of a lot of football matches in that shirt, with James Trafford in net, Muharemovic, Brandt and Wilson in front, and a few more players as well. That'd be spectacular. Anyway, I'm going to head back over because I'm about to kick off in a few minutes' time, and it's not looking good. We're against top of the league and we've only got half of our team here, so that's going to be what we like to call problematic in the business, but wish me luck anyway. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, become a member, all that fun stuff. And I will see you